Hey guys, welcome to today's lesson. My name is Tom Fontana from TheGuitarLesson.com, and today I'll be teaching you all about tabs. Now, tabs will become your best friend once you start learning to play songs, and let's just start by giving a brief definition of what tabs are, okay? Tabs is short for tablature, and it's actually a type of music notation for stringed instruments that show you which fret to play on each string. And as opposed to standard staff notation, where you can only see what note to play, what pitch note to play, tabs will show you which fret to fret on any given string on the fretboard. So let me just give you an example. Let's say you have the note G on a standard music notation. That's good and everything, but on the fretboard, you could play it here, you could play it here, or you could play it here. So on the guitar, one of the best things about the guitar is that you can play one single note in a lot of places all over the fretboard. But tabs, it will really make everything easier for you, since the person who wrote the tabs will have already taken into account which position you'll need to be in to be able to easily reach the rest of the notes that you're going to be playing. So tabs are really useful in this sense as well. So let's just have a look at what tabs look like and what those lines actually mean. So you'll probably be using a 6-string guitar, which means you'll have 6 lines across the tablature. Each of those lines actually represent a string. The top string is the highest string, so that will be the highest string on the guitar. And each string that follows that, going downwards, will be lower and lower in pitch. So the first string is the high E string, the second string is the B string, the third string is the G string, the fourth string is the D string, fifth string is the A string, and the sixth string is the E string. Okay, so that's pretty self-explanatory. And when you look at those strings on the tabs, you'll also notice that there are letters next to each given line. That will actually be the tuning of the guitar in the given song, in the given tablature that you're looking at. So this is what you'll see if the guitar is in standard tuning. But just so you know, let's just have a look at a drop D tuning, what you would see on the tabs. With drop D tuning, the 6th string, so the one on the bottom of the tabs, the one at the top of your guitar, with the drop D tuning, that string is tuned down from an E to a D, and that's why you'll see that it says D right at the beginning of that line, okay? So let's just have a look at what it means when you'll see numbers on the tabs. As you can see here, this tablature has 3 notes on it, 3 frets to be more exact, and the one on the bottom, that's a 0. 0 will always mean that that's an open string. So all you need to do is pluck the open string on the bottom, the lowest string on the guitar. The next number you see is on the A string at fret 3. So 3 on the A string will mean that you'll be going to the 3rd fret. It doesn't really matter which finger you do it with. Tabs does not stipulate that. Tabs only tells you which fret to fret. So the A string at fret 3. And then the next number is the D string at fret 3 as well. All right, good. So I hope you're getting it. It's very simple and it's very intuitive once you get into it. Here's another example. Have a look. So you can see that the highest string has a number 5. So that means you'll be fretting the 5th fret. The next note on the tablature is for the B string at fret 8. So you'll be fretting the 8th fret. And then you have the 5th fret on the B string. All right, good. So I hope that makes sense. Now let's just move on. Let's have a look at what it means when you'll see several numbers below each other on a vertical line. When you see something like this, it usually means that you'll need to play a chord. So you'll notice that the lowest string is open. The A string has fret 2. The D string has fret 2 as well. The G string has the 1st fret, B string is open, and the high E string is open as well. And since it's in a vertical line, we'll need to strum it together, and this is actually an E major chord. Have a look at this one as well. You'll notice that the D string is open, the G string is held down at fret 2, the B string is held at fret 3, and the high E string is at fret 2, And if you strum all of them, that's a D chord. Now it's important to keep in mind that tabs don't indicate the fingers that you'll need to be using. All it says is which fret to hold down at which given time. So that's where a lot of beginners get confused. They think that the numbers will actually mean the fingers that they need to be holding somewhere, but that's not true. The number there, it just means the given fret that you need to hold down, irrespective of which finger you use. It's also important to keep in mind that tabs don't indicate the rhythm whatsoever, unlike the standard music notation. So to find out the rhythm that you'll need to play, you'll actually have to have heard the original song. All right, so let's just move on. Let's have a look at what else you'll see on tabs. Every guitar technique has a standard symbol on tabs. Let's just go through them one by one, okay? H, it means a hammer on. So in this example, we're on the G string at fret 7. And 7, H, 9, that means you'll be hammering on from the 7th fret to the 9th fret. That's all it means, nothing more, nothing less. And conversely, if you see a P, that will mean that's a pull-off. The next symbol we'll look at is the B, which stands for bend, okay? So let's just have a look at this example. 7B9 means that you'll be bending from the 7th fret up to the pitch of the 9th fret, okay? And the only reason I'm playing the 9th fret afterwards with the actual finger right there is just to show you that that's the pitch that you have to reach with your bend. So you're bending up from the 7th fret to the 9th fret. Now if you see an R there, that means you don't just release the bend up at the target pitch. So you don't just release the string at the top of the bend, you'll actually be bringing the string back down, so you'll be back at the original pitch. As you can see on the tabs, we'll be bringing it back down to the 7th fret. Now some people use this symbol instead of the B. That's okay as well. Just keep in mind that that also means a bend. The next thing we'll look at is the vibrato, and this is the standard symbol for vibratos on tabs. And you may actually find it above the tablature or right beside the note, okay? So let's just have a look at this example. As you can see, the G string fret 5 is what the tab indicates that we'll need to hold. And the little wiggly line right above it means that we'll need to apply a vibrato to that note, okay? And if the wiggly line is right beside it, that means the same thing. Sometimes you'll actually see a V there, and that also stands for vibrato. Next, we'll have a look at what forward slashes and backward slashes mean. So whenever you see this is a forward slash, and it means you'll be sliding up to somewhere. Our example here says that we'll be sliding from the 7th fret on the G string to the 9th fret. Okay? And if you see a backward slash, that means exactly the opposite. So that means you'll be sliding down somewhere. So in this example, we'll just slide back from the 9th fret to the 7th fret. All right, good job. Sometimes you won't see a number preceding the forward slash. And this example just means that you can slide up to the 9th fret on the G string from anywhere you want. So from the 8th fret or from the 5th fret. It's not specified and it doesn't really matter. You'll just use your good judgment on that one. The next symbol we'll look at is the T and the P. This is used when you're supposed to be tapping on the fretboard. So let's just have a look at this example. We're at the 7th fret of the G string once again. And if you see a T, the next number is where you need to tap. And the P afterwards indicates that you'll need to pull off to the fret that's following the P. In our example, it's the 7th fret. So this line together, as you can see on the tab, should sound like this. Next, we'll have a look at what the X means if you ever see it in a tab. And X, it just means that you'll need to play a dampened note. So you don't really need to play any particular note. You just need to play a dampened string. So for example, this just means you need to play the dampened low E string. And as you'll know, to play a dampened note, you just need to mute the string somewhere, somehow. Now, X's, dampened notes, they're usually used on strumming songs very often. Well, you'll need to play dampened strums. So let's have a look at the next example where you're supposed to be holding down a bar chord, and this is actually a G bar chord, G major bar chord rooting at the 3rd fret of the low E string. I know you're not familiar with bar chords yet, but just have a look at the notation, okay? So you'll be holding down the 3rd fret of the low E string, and you'll also be holding down the 3rd fret of the high E string and the B string. And the only way you can do that is to place your finger across all of the strings right there. And you'll notice that the A string should be held down at the 5th fret, the D string should be held down at the 5th fret as well, and the middle finger will go to the G string at the 4th fret. Now this is a G major bar chord. This is a bit more intermediate stuff, so you might not be able to hold down this chord just yet, but just so you know what it means when you see this tablature, tab notation, it means that you need to play 1 ringing strum and then 2 dampened strums. Okay, so those are dampened strums. And the way you dampen that is just release everything. So basically all of your strings are muted. Next, we'll have a look at the tablature notation for palm muting. So palm muting is specified when you see PM either below or above the tablature. So in our example right here, you can see that we'll be plucking the open E string, and the A string will be held down at the 2nd fret. This is actually an E power chord. We'll get there. We'll get there in the basic lessons. And the PM right below that means that you'll need to strum or actually pluck these 2 notes palm muted. And palm muting, we'll get there in one of the other basic lessons as well. It just means that you'll need to dampen the strings to not mute them totally, but just let them give off just a tiny bit of sound. So if you weren't palm muting, that's the sound you would get. But with palm muting, that's the sound you get. So in our example right here, you can see that we need to pluck these 2 notes 8 times. Another notation you might see sometimes is the notation for natural and artificial harmonics, and that's specified by a greater than and a smaller than symbol. So let's just have a look at this tablature right here. We need to carry out a natural harmonic at the G string. And the way you do that is you just place the tip of your finger right above the fret, and you don't actually hold the string down, you just place it right above the fret. And then you let go, and that's a natural harmonic. We'll get to that in another basic lesson as well. And finally, our last notation, if you see something in parentheses, that's a ghost note, or it can also mean it's an optional note. A ghost note is just something you do very briefly, very abruptly. So let's just have a look at what you need to do here. You'll notice that there's a ghost note right before the 5th fret of the E string. So it will sound like this. So you don't really actually hear the 4th fret being plucked for long, since it's just a very abrupt, very short ghost note. All right, so that's basically all the types of tablature you'll see on tabs. And I just want to do a couple of examples to get you into it. Let's just have a look at this next example. I'll give you a couple of seconds to have a look at it, see if you can make something of it, and we'll get back to it. All right, so let's just go through it note by note. So you'll be on the low E string at the 3rd fret first of all, and let's just pluck it with our middle finger. Then the open A string, and then your first finger will go to the 2nd fret of the A, and then your 2nd finger will hold down the 3rd fret of the A string, then 1 string higher to the D string at fret 2, then the G string, open, then the D string at fret 3, then the G string at fret 2, then an open G, and now you'll go back to the low E string to the 3rd fret, then the 2nd fret of the A, an open D, 3rd fret of the D twice, then the 2nd fret of the D, and then the open D. So if you play that a bit faster, it will sound like this. All right, so you might recognize that the melody is from La Bamba, and let's just have another example. And as you can see, this one will also have a chord in it, so I'll just give you a couple of seconds to digest it. And basically what you'll need to do is pluck the open high E string, and then the B string at fret 4. Let's use our pinky. Then the open high E, and then the B string at fret 4 again, open high E, and now the open B, now the 3rd fret of the B, and we'll be using our 3rd finger, and then the 1st fret of the B, and then you'll go into a chord, and if you've been studying chords at all, you might recognize this one. It's the open A string, the 2nd fret of the D, the 2nd fret of the G, the 1st fret of the B, and the open high E. And if you sped that up a bit, this is what you get. And you might know that one as well. That's Fugalis by Beethoven. So let's just have a look at another example. Now with this one, you'll notice that I wrote that you should be holding down a chord with it, and that's just to make things a bit easier. So you'll be plucking the open A string, the G string at fret 2, the B string at fret 1, the high E, B string at fret 1 again, then the G string at fret 2. This is actually an A minor chord right here. To complete it, all you need to do is put your middle finger onto the 2nd fret of the D string. Next, we'll be holding down a C major chord, and so that means you'll be plucking the A string at fret 3. You can place your middle finger onto the 2nd fret of the D string. You were not plucking that note, but just to make it complete, that's the chord you should be holding. You'll next pluck the open G string, the B string at fret 1, the open E string, B string at fret 1, and then the G string open. So let's just put these two together. Okay, so you might recognize that one as well. That's the beginning of House of the Rising Sun. Let's just move on to the next example. Okay, so it starts getting a bit interesting here. You'll notice that you'll be plucking the low E string with every pluck, and you'll be interchanging the 2nd fret of the A string with the 4th fret of the A string. So it'll sound like this. And that's just a nice little blues progression. Alright, so that's pretty much it. That's all the types of tablature notation there is. And you'll really need to study them and get used to them, because they will need to become your best friend if you're going to advance as a guitarist and you're going to start playing your favorite songs. Now, you can find the tabs to basically any song ever written on the internet. All you need to do is go to Google or Yahoo or your search engine of choice and just type in the name of your given song, and then just append tab or tablature or tabs to it, and you'll have a whole bunch of hits, and all of them will be there for your viewing. Some of them will be pretty low quality, so just keep that in mind. You'll need to find one that's best for that given song, but you'll be able to do that by yourself. All right, so thanks for listening. I hope this lesson was useful for you. Make sure you have a look at the other basic lessons as well, and I'll see you in one of them. Bye-bye.